Let's see if it goes. There we are. Let's go. We are here. New setup, plays, and phase YouTube channel, joined by a beauty of a co-host today, Mr. Phoenix MMA. How are we doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on, and excited to talk about the fights. And yeah, let's get into
Yeah.
it.
What a card. I mean, I think we're coming off a pretty solid week. I know you didn't have much action last week, but it was a good card nonetheless. A lot of people got burned though.
Yeah, I don't
Being
know
completely
anyone who got.
honest, only way I was able to make money is just on a bunch of live bets and just Jake Paul and that stupid thing right
Yes.
there. But we're not going to get into that. I'm not talking about Jake Paul anymore. Honestly, if you made it alive last week, and that's okay. But this weekend's be completely different. So many spots, so much better, so much money to be made. And let's go right into it, right off the bat. I think we should get her started. First fight of the night, my man. What are your thoughts on this one? I mean, this whole card is only what, 10 fights total? So I mean,
Yep.
it's not a massive card in the first place. But from what we see, there are some decent ones. First one, Rojo Martinez. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I don't really have too much. I think the fight doesn't go to decision is a pretty good play. I'm thinking about playing that one myself, but um, I think the line's about right. I think that Martinez kind of looked pretty crappy on the scales. So any confidence I had in playing him kind of went down the toilet because it just didn't look. He just didn't look great, honestly. But yeah, I like the fight doesn't go to decision. I think that Rojo seems like a finish or get finished type fighter. So yeah, I would say play the fight doesn't go to decision if you want to take action on the fight. Oh, did we lose him? I think we may have lost him. Uh-oh. Well, I can keep this going until he gets back. Oh, he's now officially out of the stream. Okay, well, oh, his Wi-Fi died. Okay. Um, I'll keep it going while we wait for our man Gordo to come back. So the next fight, we got Dalcha Lungiambula versus Marc-Andre Barrios. And this is, another fight. Oh, he's back. Welcome back, my friend.
My apologies for that, my man. New setup, everything going on here. I'm just happy you got it out of the way to start with, man. I didn't want to die in the middle of a conversation. But you know what? I trust you enough to know that you probably killed it there. You probably said everything I wanted to say. I know I heard you say that you like the fight doesn't go to decision, and that is the line I'm targeting right here. If anybody saw the weigh-ins, Martinez missed, did not look good at all. And you have a guy in Marcelo Rojo who is just a killer to be killed fighter. I mean, he's the guy who's just out there celebrating with those T-Rex arms after he wins. Absolute beauty of a fighter. Put up a really good fight against Charles Jourdain his last time out. Against all odds, put on an absolute firefight. And he's in a spot here where if Martinez comes out gassed tomorrow, he probably won't be able to handle the pace that Rojo pushes. I mean, we just saw Martinez knocked out a few months ago against Davy Grant out there as a minus 300 favorite. So whereas he could be justified to finish in this spot because he could be the better fighter on paper, weight miss, got knocked out recently. There's so many different things going on that make me just want to take the fight doesn't go to decision instead. It's one of those fights where such a small slate, you're going to want to target these in DraftKings because you want someone to get knocked out. I would love to see Rojo knock him out and go just, T-Rex arms, be all crazy and that kind of thing. I mean, he's an entertaining fighter, and I love him for that. And I bet you probably broke it down perfectly. I trust you and your reads. So let's hope my Wi-Fi doesn't disconnect again. Let's catch up here. Carter, new mic? Yes, new mic. We're gonna take this seriously. I mean, Wi-Fi is still trash, obviously, but the mic's better. That's okay. Got Tyler in the chat. How we doing, my man? Frank Newman. Oh, love you too. Happy Friday to all you guys. Let's keep raking in the money, my man. I mean, let's not waste any more time. Small card. Let's fly through it all, and then we can answer a few questions if anybody's got them. Next up, a Canadian man Marc-Andre Barrio takes on Dalcha. Should I try this last name? Dalcha Lungiabula.
Well done.
Thank you. I try. You have a guy, Marc-Andre Barrio, who the best way to describe him is he's a scrappy hockey player. I know I'm Canadian, you're Canadian. We've seen a lot of hockey in our life, and this guy's just a prime example. If you took a guy who would be like a prime hockey fighter on off skates, that's him in the cage. I mean, he'll clinch up, do dirty boxing, take all the punishment in the world, and then try to finish you late. His gas tank is off the charts. He has so much cardio, and he can just stand and bang. So he's just out there killing the game. He's had some controversial fights his last time out. I mean, he looked really, really good his last time out. I mean, getting a finish in the last, 5 seconds. But if it's up to him, he'll stand in the clinch, he'll box you, and he'll just box until you drop. I mean, he's not going to be the first one to drop to that right now. But he's facing a guy in Dalcha who is a huge man, packs a lot of power, and if he wants to do that against, if he wants to stand and trade with Barrio, he's going to have the power edge here. Now, the big thing for this fight is going to be the wrestling. We've seen Barrio control on his back. Hockey players don't like to be on their back, so it's one of these spots where if Dalcha decides to go down that path, it could be an easier way for him to win the fight, and plus money, it's tempting, but I'm not going to go against my Canadian boy. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add. I think you broke that down perfectly. I mean, I think it's pretty much comes down to that. I think Dalch is the side if you want to make a bet on this fight. But both guys, it's tough for Barrio because he hasn't had the greatest run in the UFC so far, right? He dropped his first 3, then beat probably the worst fighter in the division in Picota, and then beat Abu Azartar in the last 4 seconds, cashed the plus 1,200 ticket in round 3, Marc-Andre Barrio. I was jumping so hard when he finished him with 4 seconds left after literally dominating him the whole round, and the ref just wanted to see a homicide. So yeah, I think you broke it down perfectly. I think that was a perfect breakdown. I don't really got much to add to that, honestly. That was exactly what I saw as well.
Barrio landed 141 significant strikes in a 3-round fight his last time out. And the thing is, he beat Oscar Piota, but he didn't really. He got overturned, no contest due to, I think it was marijuana use. So he was hungry for his first win. He went out there, he dominated, he got the win. The big thing here is, whereas Dalcha may be the side, I can't see him really putting away Barrio. And it's going to be up to him to last those 15 minutes. And he's not going to be able to out cardio someone like Barrio, someone who's be able to stand and bag, trade in the pocket, take those blows. And I think if you go blow for someone on the feet in the clinch, it's going to be Barrio walking away with the win. I do not like minus 160 in this spot, though.
Yeah.
I think that he should, if this was a pick 'em, I'd be all over him. I'd love and cash that ticket right there. But for right now, I'm going to stay away from it. I think he's a good DraftKings option, Barrio, that is, just because he's able to throw that volume. He's able to wear him down. But I don't know if there's really a finish in this one. So maybe you sprinkle some Barrio round 3 one more time. Cash for you last time. Could cash for you again. You know what? Maybe you cash enough tickets to make Mr. Marcus here happy with your good internet. I mean... But no. I do like Barrio on the spot to get the dub, but I mean, Dalcha does have that path to victory. It's up to him to execute it. If he can do that for all 3 rounds, it's his win. It's one of those ones where I could see either side happening. I'm scared to do it. I'm scared. Hockey fighter Canadian, 100% Barry. Oh, of course. We love our players. I mean, there's a Canadian hockey player right behind me right there. It's one of these spots, though, where we are betting MMA. We aren't betting hockey. So if he's able to execute his game plan, I mean, if he's able to keep it on the feet, 100% take him all day. He will put out that volume. But if Dalcha is able to take him down, that's where it's going to go. That's where it is. And I just got notification right here that the UFC DraftKings video is now live on the Plays and Fades channel. So don't go check it out now because, you keep hanging out with us here, keep asking your questions in the comment section. But whenever you guys want to make some money betting DFS, the video is live, beautifully edited by my co-host who wasn't even in the video. So good for him. Yeah, let's move right along. I am going to edge Barrio there, but I do see a path to victory for Dalcha. So let's move right along. Next fight, another Canadian guy, Charles Air Jourdain facing Julian Erosa, an absolutely electrifying matchup. I
Yeah.
love this one, man. This is my fight of the night, contender right off the rip on paper, absolute banger. I have to hedge the Canadian again. Am I biased?
No, I agree.
It's one of those spots where Arosa is one of those guys who's killer to be killed, and we've seen him. He's been so hittable in the past. He got put his lights put out his last time out, and you have a guy Charles Rennie who's got such crisp boxing. He's able to put away, able to land those combinations. Just ask Marcelo Rojo, who got knocked out last time they fought. I mean, Jordan's got some great boxing, great hands. The problem with him is he struggles on the mat sometimes. I mean, he's got decent scrambles, but he's no black belt on the mat. I mean, well, he's no like Renan Gracie in the mat, right? He's one of those guys who can be controlled, he can be dominated. So I saw him in an interview, Julian Erosa, say that he is going to wrestle for 15 minutes. I don't think that's true. That's just something he's going to say. These guys are going to stand in the middle. They're going to stand and bang, and I think that is going to be Charles Jourdain landing the more impactful strikes because he's just got that better striking defense and that better striking accuracy. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm kind of slacking a little bit. Really haven't taped this one, but I think from memory,
Shame.
I think what you're saying is right. I mean, I
Always.
did expect Jourdain to be the moderate favorite in this fight, and I'll get into the tape on it, but I'm not gonna persuade the people with any potential takes. But I'm going for the Canadian because he's Canadian. Let's go,
Oh,
Jourdain.
you're just like Carter here. You know
Hey man,
Canadian bias.
it's
He
it,
is
it
the side.
happens. It
He is
happens.
the side, in my opinion. I think he's the one who's going to be able to go in there, and Jourdain's the one who's going to be able to land those more impactful strikes. I don't like Arosa's striking defense at all. He doesn't really move his head off the center line, and Jourdain's going to be able to take advantage of it. I mean, he's not my biggest lock of the night because Arosa does pack power, and he does have that wrestling in his back pocket. I just think Air Jourdain is going to be able to take advantage of it, show off his striking prowess, and coast his way to a victory. Honestly, I can see this fight being finished a lot of the time, too. Rosa was just knocked out. All of his fights have ended pretty early recently. I mean, he had that nice knockout over Nate Landwehr. So I'm not going to talk about that because I did have some money on Nate Train there. So painful. But no, Charles Jourdain's aside here. Canadian over again. I mean, what is it? What was that? Can we get a Canadian parlay going on this one? No, I'm just kidding. I am much more confident in Charles Jourdain than I am Marc-Andre Barriault just because the path to victory for Jourdain is a lot more promising and a lot more prominent than the one for Marc-Andre Barriault. But both fights are going to be there's absolute barn burners out there. They're going to be absolute great fights, and I'm so excited to get this card started. I mean, if you guys don't know, the card tomorrow starts at 1:30 p.m. You get a nice drink going on early in the morning. You can sit down and watch the fights and relax. It's not a late card. You can have some friends over, but I'm pumped for it. All three of these fights are going to be absolute bangers to start off the card. And the next one is as well. We're flying through these, and this is where you're going to start rubbing it in my face. We have one of my all-time favorite fighters, some guy who's had the most money for me. Yeah, the most money riding on. Yeah, this guy's had a lot of my confidence, and it's paid off recently. Jack Shore taking on a Ultimate Fighter veteran in Ludovic Sholinian. I'll let you take this one off to start. What do you got?
Yeah, man, I love this spot. I love this fight. And I was fortunate enough to beat the line movement on this fight, man. I got Jack Shore at 3 units at -275. I mean, completely crushed the line movement. I think he's market wide, like -600 now, which is more accurate. It's just this is a fight where I don't really see any path to victory for Ludovic here. I mean, Shore is the much more technical striker. He has a much better jab. He sets up his shots better. Shalinian, he likes to walk you down, put pressure on you, but his striking defense isn't there. He's got tall man's defense in a way. I think Shore can stick on the outside, pop him with that jab, pop him with the straight right. I think Shore has the much better wrestling. I think Shore is the much better grappler. I think Shore is the much more opportunistic grappler. I mean, Ludovic just tries to hold you right in place and control you, while Jack actually tries to advance in position and things like that. And Shore just beat a guy in Hunter Azure who, he out wrestled him. And Hunter Azure, I think, he has a wrestling background. I think he's a better wrestler than Ludovic here. And Shore's also got the full camp in this spot. And also, if you go back and watch Shalinian's fight versus Cachero, Vince Cachero has no grappling. I mean, we've seen it in the UFC so far. He cannot grapple. He can't grapple on the regionals either. And, that was a very close competitive fight where a lot of people thought Cachero won. Ludovic could not take down Vince Cachero until midway through the second round. And then even there, Cachero was scrambling to get on top. So, I just think that this is a levels fight. I mean, Jack Shore, I think he's just much better everywhere. I think Ludovic is going to get pieced up on the feet by Shore, who I think is actually, his striking is coming along. I think he's a great prospect. And then if Ludovic wants to go back to his wrestling, I mean, that's playing right into Jack Shore's route. I mean, the guy is great on the mat, great grappler. And, I just can't really see a path to victory for Ludovic Shalinian here. I mean, especially now he's coming in on short notice. Maybe the only thing, maybe he's just a bit bigger than Shore.
Don't manifest it.
Maybe,
Nope,
but
nothing.
this should be Jack Shore all day. I mean, I capped this near minus 500, minus 600. I just think this is a levels fight. There's just levels to the game, and I think Jack Shore is a very good prospect. I'm not saying he's a future champion, but I do think he's a future top 15 guy potentially if he keeps improving. I think he's a great fighter, and minus 275 is an absolute steal of a line. I honestly should have just put the house on it, but you can never be too sure in this game. Can never be too sure.
You know what? On that note, we never Carter. Oh, where'd it go? We don't use the L word. There's no such thing as a lock, and that hurts my feelings. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the closest thing to it. Like you said, there are levels to this. Jack Shore has been, this is not my words, but he has been compared by many to the future GSP in a lot of interviews I've seen. So let's just keep the Canadian thing rolling. We got 2 Canadian fighters, and now we got the future GSP here. But no, this man's got promise in the division. He should be fighting someone way better than someone making his UFC debut, and that's the moral of the story here is Ludovic Shalinian lost in the Ultimate Fighter. There's no way he should be fighting a guy like Jack Shore who should be in the top 15, top 10 of the division. I think that Jack Shore is levels above Shalinian here. If Shalinian can't beat someone in the Ultimate Fighter, there's no way he should be able to beat Jack Shore. Jack Shore's got insane, just in one of the most well-rounded games in the division. And his life has been as a mixed martial artist, and it's been showing in the cage. This guy's an absolute killer. I had 5 units on him last time, and I'm going right back to the well. I've made one of my biggest bets on the Gordo Gambles channel, 5 units. I got him probably with Merab Dvalishvili, who will be fighting in a couple weeks' time on the Volkanovski-Ortega card. So, big boy bets out here, but I'll take that all day. I think Jack Shore is levels above. Love Shalinian, though. Looks like an absolute gem of a human being. It's just this isn't his time. It's one of the hardest UFC debuts you can make. And Jack Shore has a lot more potential than Shalinian brings to the table. So I think it's going to be him late. I do like Shalinian's durability, though. So I wouldn't put money on him really inside the distance yet, unless it'd be a 3rd round finish. I might sprinkle that round 3 in there just because whereas there's levels to this, Shalinian's looked decent, right? He's got a decent chin. But no, this should be Jack Shore all day. This is a layup fight. This is a short notice replacement fight. And without saying the L word, let's go Jack Shore. Another thing, too, is Shalinian did look well. I mean, he pulled off the upset against Mitch Raposo, but Mitch Raposo is not Jack Shore. No one is Jack Shore, really. Yeah, I love him. I'm on the hype train. I'm all over that. I got him at minus 300, not minus 275, so you can brag on that. But he's minus 700, minus 750 places, and rightfully so. Man's an absolute beast. And at 9.1K on DraftKings, you should have that guy in every single lineup. So because it's such a small slate, there's limited player pool and limited price tags and everything. So let's go Jack Shore. Make me some money. All right, we're finally on to it. And we're going from 4 absolute barn burners, absolute killer fights, to one who's going to slow down a bit. This fight is, I mean, if you want a parlay piece, this one should go to decision. This should be a slower pace fight. The first women's fight of the night, we have Kim versus Molly Meatball McCann. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I have a bet here. I got Meatball here.
Too.
Got Meatball here, and I got a little bit of a hot take in this fight as well. Going into tape on this fight, just looking at the features, looking at like the head-to-head on how they match up and stuff like that. Obviously, Kim's 10-inch reach advantage and height advantage is very concerning. I mean, You don't want to ever be on the side of the 10-inch reach disadvantage. But you know, I've seen a
Unless
lot
you're
of.
Nunez a couple weekends ago.
That's true. That is true. Um, you know, I've seen a lot of people have strong takes either way of this on Twitter. And I think that I'm not overly confident in Molly. Like, I'm not saying that she's has a 60% plus chance to win. I just think she should be the slight favorite, like -125, and I got her at +100. So just a small value shot. It's just, if we look at Meatball's 6 UFC fights, I mean, she wins every fight where she's able to grapple and get her opponents down,
3-0 when she gets over a takedown.
and she loses every fight that she gets out grappled. So basically, the story of her fights so far in the UFC have been, are you a better grappler than Molly McCann? And in this case, I don't think Kim checks those boxes. I mean, I'm not. I think Kim is okay, but especially if you look at the stats, I know stats sometimes can be misleading, but Molly McCann is 16% more accurate striking wise than GU Kim is, and she has a much better striking defense as well. I mean, her metrics check out very well. And I think that in the pocket, I feel that Molly's also going to have the speed advantage, as the majority of people do against GU and Kim. So I think that, on the feet, I slightly favor Molly, honestly. I think it's close competitive. On the feet, Kim can hit her much farther than Molly can hit her. But I'm not overly high on Kim. I was impressed how she fought against Grasso. I thought the first round especially, she was very competitive with Grasso. But I think that if Molly goes to the wrestling, which I don't see any evidence to suggest she won't. I mean, she attempts 5 takedowns per fight. I think she can get some takedowns, and Ji-Yoon Kim off of her back is terrible. I mean, she's got no get up game. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't hip escape properly. She has no submission game off of her back. So I don't think that. I think Molly can get some control time, and I think Molly McCann is going to finish Ji-Yoon Kim via ground and pound. I mean, Molly McCann, when she does get on top, I mean, she does go for ground and pound. It's relatively aggressive. And now I'm not saying that that's my prediction, confident prediction, but I do think Molly is live for a TKO finish here. And I just think that she has to use the wrestling. If she doesn't use the wrestling, it's a bit more concerning, but I just don't see why she wouldn't, considering she attempts 5 takedowns per fight. And I just think maybe in these close competitive rounds where I think that they'll be close, I think Kim has the power advantage. So I think her strikes may be a bit more impactful to the judges, but I also do think that Molly can land. I think she can land more strikes. I think that, the output's very similar, but Molly's the much more accurate striker. So I feel like on the feet it'll be competitive, but if Molly just goes to the wrestling, I'm not saying she's a great wrestler, but Kim is, not a very good at stuffing takedowns, doesn't really have good technique in stuffing takedowns. I feel like she can get some control time, get some ground and pound going, and, steal close rounds. So that's pretty much where I see it. So I don't think she should be the dog here. I think there's a lot of recency bias in her last 2 fights where this is not the same case. I mean, Tyler Santos, first of all, is looking like a very good prospect, and Lara Procopio, just, it's just grappling. It's just completely grappling. She's just getting out grappled. Her takedown defense sucks. That's a huge weakness in her game. But, she doesn't have to worry about that in this fight. So 3-0 when she lands a takedown or more. I think that's what you said. And 0-3 when she gets out grappled. So I like Molly here. Not overly confident in it, but I like her at plus money as a small player.
All right, I'm gonna come out of the gate and say right away, I have a bet on Molly McCann as well, but my bet is on her by decision. I don't think she finishes this fight.
Fair enough.
I have her by decision at plus 160, 0.8 units. Okay,
fair enough.
Because I see in this fight, we both have made some hot takes. I mean, I bet on Tisha Torres to finish a fight. So do you think that Molly McCann has a better chance of finishing this fight than Tisha Torres did?
Yes.
So you're telling me a stab at plus 550 is a good idea?
I mean, I don't think she gets a sub. I'd just play the TKO prop. I think it's like plus 900. Where is it? McCann wins by TKO.
Don't make me.
Yeah, plus. Oh, it's got bet down a little bit. Plus 800.
Anyways, I think that is a decision all day. Molly McCann is a decision fighter. She's going to have a 10-inch reach disadvantage, which is the big part that's scaring a lot of people. As people see that stat, they're like, oh, I know I have a few buddies who are going to see that stat and go, whoa, and maybe I'll make some money betting against them in person. I hope they're not watching this live stream right now, because I'll tell them right now, 50-50, let's put $10. Anyways, I think that this is one of those spots where you got to look at their styles. I mean, Molly McCann puts out so much output. Her 3 wins in a row in the UFC, she put over 107 strikes significant strikes in each one of them. She also landed over She ended what 2, 3, 4 takedowns in those fights, whereas Kim has never secured a takedown in the UFC. She's a striker, and that's it. And Molly McCann has this path to victory. She can be able to use it. I hope so, because this is her fight. I'm completely fine with Molly McCann resting on her for 15 minutes. That's fine. I'll go get popcorn and I'll watch the next bangers, right? I think this is going to be one of those fights that can win the distance. There's not that many locks this week. Oh, I can't. Damn it, I said it myself. There's not that many L words this week. But if you need a parlay piece, I think the fight goes decision is a great one. But that is why, if you're going to pick a side here at minus 110, if you're going to pick a side, might as well take them by decision. I'm on Molly McCann here. I know you are as well. By decision, plus 160, 0.8 units. I will be happy to cash that tomorrow. When it comes to a cash play on DraftKings, Molly McCann being $8,000. I mean, if she lands those takedowns, she'll score big. I don't mind her that much, but she's not going to be one of my core plays. All right, main card time. Wow, we're flying through this. Professional streamers, is that us? I know, Carter. I know. I got mad at you. You can get mad at me. You know what? I deserve that. You know what? Before we do this, though, let's turn this into an ASMR channel real quick. Okay, there we go. Let's continue on main card. Yeah, this one is this is something. I talked about it a bit on the DFS video that everyone can go check out later. But Paddy Pimblett facing Luigi Vendramini. Paddy Pimblett's got a huge hype train around him, and he's just a very entertaining fighter. He's electrifying. Man is a character and a half, and he's great at what he does. He sells fights, and he goes all for it. And he's facing a guy in Luigi Vendramini who I have backed almost every time he stepped inside the octagon. I love the guy. He's very well-rounded. Didn't do as well as I expected him to against Ziem last time out, but I think that I think that if the fight went one more round, he destroyed that guy easily. That last round could have been a 10-8 against Ziem. I like the guy. But he's facing a guy here in Paddy Pimblett who I just think has a, let's say, advantage in certain aspects of the fight. With that being said, I'm going to edge him, and I will explain why later. I just want to hear your thoughts on it first.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm on the Paddy train. I just think Paddy is slightly better everywhere, right? So I have him about minus 150. I think the line's about right. I just think that for me, looking at the key points for this fight, as Paddy is the more experienced mixed martial artist in MMA fights. I don't think that's too big, but it's there. I think I see a lot of people that are saying that Pimblett's striking isn't great. I honestly think his striking is not bad. I think he's a very kick heavy game plan. His boxing look like it's coming along better, and and I see a lot of people high on Luigi's striking, and I don't think he's a bad striker, but so far it just hasn't materialized in the UFC. I get he's had tough matchups, right? Dos Santos, kickboxer, and Ziem, but he just seems to me like a guy that doesn't throw too much volume. And when he does throw, they're kind of like blitzes forward, like explosion blitzes forward. That's how he strikes. He's not like a guy that's gonna throw jabs to set up things. From what I've seen so far, and I think Paddy's gonna be a little bit better, more technical. I think he's gonna use his kicks, his side kicks, to keep distance well, keep Luigi away from him. And if this fight hits the mat, I mean, that's where this fight gets great. I think if this fight hits the mat, we're gonna be in for a treat. I think that Luigi's a very solid grappler. I think it's the best aspect of his game. And I also think that Paddy's a very good grappler. I mean, some of Paddy's back takes are just phenomenal. The way he transitions is incredible. I think he's a very good submission grappler. Um, I think wrestling wise, I think both guys need work on their wrestling. I think they both can improve. But it's hard to go again. It's hard to not be a fan of Luigi. I mean, because the guy has 3 UFC fights and he really hasn't disappointed me too much. I mean, he took a fight up a weight class against Dos Santos, took his back, which is, I mean, just that in its own is a good showing from him. Then got a knockout win against Ayari, and then lost to Ziem. But I just feel like Ziem was a really tough matchup for him. I think I was on Ziem in that fight. I didn't bet it, but I felt like the range, the kickboxing was too much. I mean, he couldn't really get into range until he finally clipped him. But I like both of these guys. I think both of these guys have decent upside in the UFC. Both guys are young. I think both guys are very well-rounded fighters. To me, I just feel like Pimblett's a step ahead right now in his career. I think he's the slightly better striker. I think he's the slightly better grappler. And another thing is Luigi has a 100% finish rate. I don't think he knocks out Paddy. I think Paddy's chin is great. He said multiple times that no one's knocking him out. Submission-wise, I think he's the better submission grappler. I think if Luigi does finish this fight, I think it would be by submission. But I think Patty, he's very squirmy, tough to finish. And Luigi's never won a decision, right? So maybe like we're looking at how does he win this fight? Again, I think it's a fight of the night candidate. I think it's going to be a great fight.
What do you cap it at?
Yeah, I got Patty minus 150, honestly, in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where I usually cap minus 150s. Is just when I think that one guy's like not overly better, but just
Any action?
decent better. No, but I was very tempted in playing that doesn't go to decision. I see a lot of people think this fight's going to go to decision. I think Patty might get a sub here. I'm not going to lie.
Oh,
and I think it's going to be explosive too. I think they're going to go at it. I think both guys could finish. I mean, Luigi has a 100% finish rate, and Patty's got a lot of finishes too. I think it's going to be an explosive fight. I didn't bet it because I do think I'm not confident in it. I think it's what is it? Yeah, it's like minus 160. Right. So I think that's probably about
Well, I locked in some Patty Pimblett at minus 135. Yeah, and I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Luigi Vengermini, but I don't think he wants it as much as Patty Pimblett does in this spot. I mean, if you look at the guy, Patty Pimblett does not look like a UFC fighter. Let me get that out of the way. Like, I will share my screen and show a picture of this guy. Honestly, this man looks like he could be in the Beatles if they started a 2020 band. I mean, keep in mind this is the British card, but he just doesn't look like a fighter. But he steps on the scale today and he looks great. I mean, he looked ripped. He looked in a lot better shape than he usually does. So I think this is one of those spots where you can look at him wanting it. He's finally got a shot in the UFC. Here, let me share it. Share screen. I really want to see how this. Never mind. You know what?
It's not going to let down, man.
I am letting the people down. You know what? I think that. I think that. Let's get the window open. Oh, I suck at this. Maybe I should get it next time. All right, let me say my piece before I do. Oh, there's full screen. You know what? We're just having fun here. I'll just have a bit more of my drink and then carry on. What happened? Okay, I'll get that picture up for you later. I think Pimblett is on a hype train, and rightfully so. I mean, he's got so many wins and finishes. His graph is super, super slick, and whereas Luigi isn't a scrub on the mat, I think he's a bit behind here. I mean, Patty Pimblett is smooth. He's Carter, I'm sorry, man. I will get it up. I promise you. I'm sorry. It's just one of these things where I think that he wants it more. I like his striking a lot more than other people do. I think that people really don't credit him as much as they should. And I don't like you said, his chin's pretty good. So what is Luigi's path to victory here? Is he gonna out scramble him? I don't think so. I think Patty will win the fight on the mat and is able to knock him out. I don't think so as well. And when it comes to volume, Luigi's a finisher. He's a power puncher. He's not one to win it. So it's one of these spots where I'm kind of like, if I was backing Luigi, I'd be kind of scared because I'm not able to see what he brings, right? Like how does he win this fight? So yeah, I mean, that's what we're rolling with right now. Oh, I got it. Oh, there we go. Look at this guy.
What a beauty,
man. Is that working? Oh, it is. So, I mean, this guy doesn't really look like a fighter. I mean, people comparing him to Conor McGregor. And honestly, does he look like he's going to win a fight? He's got these bright orange shorts. I mean, if anybody saw this guy for the first time, they probably have a nice little laugh. But he's a killer in there. He's got great scrambles, great chin, and this guy talks trash. I mean, if certain people saw his tweets, like, I mean, you can't pretty easily. I mean, like, look at this, right? Like, he looks like someone who talks big game and doesn't back it up. But I mean, man backs it up, so good for him. I really like the way he brings the table, and yeah, Frank, you know what? Can't get it up. You know what? Yeah, okay, that's why I'm drinking. Sorry, that's because I'm drinking. Oh, yeah. Like I said, blonde guy, Beatles haircut, who talks a lot of trash. you never know what you're going to get from him, but UFC debut, he's got a lot of hype behind him. I'm really liking him in this spot because I think he has a lot more potential to win this fight than Luigi Benjamini does. And I'm playing it on DraftKings. Like I said a million times, check out that DraftKings video. It'll really help you make some money this weekend. All right? You know, can't play that guy who has that haircut. Yeah, you're kind of right. I mean,
he's a beauty.
Maybe the guy just got bullied for the haircut. So he's some world-class UFC fighter. You know what happened. But no, he's he just go check out his Twitter if you want to know. I mean, the guy's a entertaining fellow, let's say that. Anyways, moving right along, another absolute banger of a fight. Roundtree versus Bukakis. I mean, I'm not a fan of Bukakis. I have never really been a fan. I mean, I like Roundtree as a person, but I've never really backed him either. And this is one of those spots where I can't really wrap my head around it. It's a fight that on paper looks like it should finish, but then you look at it even further and it's like, yeah, should it really? And I'm just gonna let you take over for this one. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I don't really have strong opinion either way. I do think that I do favor Bukowskis here, but I think for very small things, I'm actually a little bit higher on him than the general population. I think he has some decent tools. I think he's a pretty big 205er. I think he's very light on his feet. And I think the durability that people question about him is a little over exaggerated because I do feel like the guy can take a punch. I do feel like the guy doesn't have a glass chin. Um, and another thing I want to say is I was really impressed by the Oleksiejczyk fight, not because I thought he won the fight, because I did think, but because I feel like he was working on a lot of the mistakes that he was making. I mean, one of his biggest weaknesses in his game was his ability was when he threw a leg kick or any type of kick, he would just leave his chin right up in the air. And I thought that one, he didn't throw as many kicks, but when he did throw the kicks, I thought that he kept his chin more protected. I feel like he was way harder to hit, in general. So I think he's working on his game. The reason that I do edge him here as a slight like -122 favorite is I think he's got the better cardio. I think if this fight goes to 3 rounds, I think he wins round 3 at a very high clip. I think he's gonna have the. I think he's got the size advantage. I didn't watch the weigh-ins, but he does have the size advantage, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Roundtree's just a thick boy, though,
yeah,
man. He's thick.
and I think honestly, I don't know how much. I don't really put too much into this, but I just feel like maybe he's more mentally in it. I don't know where Roundtree's head is at. I mean, the guy is so inconsistent. I mean, that
Didn't he try to
Eric Anders
retire?
fight, he did. He tried to retire at the end of 2019, and and then he came back and he lost to Prachnio, right? Not the greatest look there.
Well, I mean,
Prachnio,
Prachnio's
he
looked a
looked
bit
better.
better,
Yeah,
right?
he looked a bit
But
better. He looked a bit better. But I
Roundtree
don't
was
really
what, -400 that fight,
minus
and
400.
like
I don't have that
-300 to
one too.
finish. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Prachnio
he
came
was
out
one of
as
those
a new
fights.
man.
Exactly, he got that Jason Witt chin. Actually,
Yeah,
no,
honestly,
Jason Witt
man.
still got rocked in that fight, but he has one of those chins that was everyone was expected to be shot, and Roundtree's that guy to take advantage of it. Roundtree's got power, and he couldn't put him out there. I mean, I don't really know where Roundtree is at either. I mean, he didn't look bad on the scales today, but I'm with you here. I'm going to side slightly to
Just small
Bukakis.
factors that I side with him, but
Yeah.
I don't want to.
But I would not be paying 8.6K for him on DraftKings. I wouldn't be paying the juice to bet on him in the first place. It's one of those spots where I would not like to do that at all. Okay. I think that there's a lot of better options if you want to pay up for that range. I mean, especially on DraftKings. I know you're not a big DraftKings guy, but I'll handle this.
I'm
Don't you
getting
worry.
into it. Oh, I'm going to be
Oh,
a
are you?
DraftKings superstar, man.
Should we host another contest soon? Should we throw some more money out
I
there?
actually need to get in it this time, man. I keep missing them.
Oh, that's why everyone else is winning. Is because you're not in it.
Because I'm not there.
Oh, exactly. Okay. Well, yeah. If you want to pay for 8.5K at Bukakis, I mean, Barrio's going to put out a lot more volume. Pimblett has a lot more finishing potential, and I really think that Martinez Rojo finishes like 70% of the time. So you can take the guy as well. But another guy. I mean, if you want to be able to pay up for those Jack Shores, those Charles Jourdains, this next fight, I'm actually taking the dog in this one. The Alex Morono versus Zawada fight. I've never really been a big fan of Alex Morono. Good for him on that Cerrone win. That was a huge win for him. Sad to see, though. I'm not a huge fan of him. I'm sure Morono's a good guy, but I think there's a lot better prospects out there. There's a lot better people with more potential. He just knows what he has to do and usually can do it pretty well. In this case here, he's got a tough challenge, and I mean, a lot of money is coming on David Zawada, so I don't think I'm alone. I missed the line movement extremely bad, so there will be no play for me. But I do edge him as the underdog. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. I honestly, I think he's the side, especially early. He was the side. I just, this fight, it's one of these fights where I'm taping and I'm just like, man, bro, I don't know what to do because I don't look at the lines prior. Right, so I was like, I figured Morono would be the slight favorite just because Zawada is usually the dog, but I just feel like it's
he opened up at he opened up at plus 155.
Yeah, the opener was and it's being bet down to a pick'em, right? That makes more sense. I feel like it should be pretty much a pick'em.
And the thing with this too is where line movement changes on odds, movement doesn't change DraftKings. You can still get Zawada at the same price tag as Rojo or Julian Rosa. Like, he's still 7.5K. So when you have someone who's bet down to a pick'em and he's still that cheap on DraftKings, you're going to think that he's a good play for you. Again, UFC breakdown video, yada, yada, yada. Carry on, my friend. Sorry about that.
All good. And, it's just for me, I think that I honestly lean Morono ever so slightly. I just feel that I think he's got more power in his hands. I think Zawada's the better BJJ fighter, for sure. On the feet, I feel like Morono statistically has the volume advantage, but just the way I see them matching up, I feel it's going to be very close on the feet. And, Zawada, he hasn't looked bad at all, right? Like, if we look at his fights, I mean, let me just bring it up. I've been impressed with quite a few of his performances.
He's fought a decent amount of fighters, like some decent
he took a move to a split, which was impressive.
Looks great doing it as well.
Yeah, I thought he looked great in that fight. Yeah, a good win over Abubakar Nurmagomedov. He lost to the Leech in a fight where he almost finished the Leech early on, and then got the Leech started turning it up, and then split decision with Danny Robertson. Honestly, a crazy fight with grappling exchanges. I was very much enjoyed watching that fight. But I feel like Morono has some good wins too. I mean, he beating Max Griffin. That was a pretty good win for him, I thought. It's just weird to me how Morono got the Pettis and Cerrone fights. It's just you think that they want to give to someone like when they could make a name off, right? Like someone that'd be like
Cerrone was last minute though.
That one is true.
And now I think that was more of kind of like, okay, Cerrone's got a last minute fight. Let's get him a win because who doesn't love Donald Cerrone? And what was he, line minus 400 to win that fight?
No, I don't think it was that much. I think he was 200, I think.
Let's look it up here. Gordo Gamble's facts of the day. Sorry. He was favored. For sure.
I think you were having a slightly negative night that night, and I think you told me you were going to chase with Cerrone. I think that's why I remember his line. Did you?
Did I? Oh, you're right. I was completely wrong. Not minus 400.
I think he was like minus like 180.
He was minus 200 when he opened.
Yeah.
Closed at minus.
Morono's not great. Zawada, they're both like okay. I think they both have flaws. I think both guys are hittable. Honestly, I think both guys have solid cardio. I think both guys have potential durability issues. I don't know. To me, it's a close fight. I can't get a good read on this fight. I mean, Zawada was the side early, but like you said, I think the value's been extracted.
You know what? I completely agree. There will be no play for me. I do think Zawada has a lot of tools, though, he's faced some tough level competition. I had money on Ameev that night, and I was sweating. Like, you shouldn't be sweating if you're betting Ramazan Ameev at what, minus... Maybe that's the one. That was the one that was like minus 450 because it's Ramazan Ameev, right? And Zawada looked great. And was that the fight he had him in a couple chokeholds? Yeah, he had control time like crazy in that fight. He looked great. And if it wasn't Ramazan Ameev, he probably would have finished that fight. And you know what? I think he can do it again here.
And Morono's also on short notice.
Exactly. And, I know Morono's one of those cool stories where he walked into a gym and he was, overweight and cut all the weight and he came in there. And props to him. He seems like a great guy, but I don't think he is top 15 caliber. I'm not saying Zawada is. I'm just saying that there's a lot of... When you beat Donald Cerrone, you have this recency bias around you that I don't think is deserved. And when the line opened at plus 155 for Zawada, I should have jumped all over it. I waited to do my tape, and I missed the line completely. So that is my mistake. Luckily for me, I'm a DraftKings guy, and lines don't change there. So I will take that all day. He is my DraftKings underdog of the week. Put him in there. You can get your Jack Shores in. You can get your fighter we'll talk about next time. And a lot of good plays in there as well. If you look at my lineups, I'll have him in a lot of them. I think he wins this fight. Moving on, though, the next one. Speaking of hype trains, I mean, Paddy Pimblett, huge hype train. Tom Aspinall is another huge hype train. I see a couple guys online thinking he's the future of the heavyweight division. I don't know about that. I mean, you knocked out Jake Collier. Good on you. Man looked like he rolled off the couch. But he, yeah, I think, oh, no, never mind. I think that Aspinall is a great fighter, has a lot of talent, but I don't think he should be this favored against Spivak. I mean, Spivak is a wet blanket. The polar bear just sits on you a lot of the time. He's no top 5 fighter, not even close. And I do edge Aspinall. I think Aspinall wins this fight. But come on, are we really betting Aspinall down to minus 250 or like whatever the line is or whatever it opened at? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think you hit it perfectly. I'm super excited for this fight. I mean, taping this fight, it took me very long to cap it because it's just so like I don't know, man. Like the thing with Tom Aspinall is I watched like all of his fights, like every fight that I could find, I watched again because he doesn't have long
Even
fights
the
either,
submission
so
loss?
even his submission loss. And
Exactly.
that's the only time we've seen him in a wrestling situation, and his takedown defense was non-existent. Now it was what 7-8 years ago. So I'm sure he's made improvements. Again, you can't. It's really not good to bet on. I think this guy made improvements, but you got to figure he's probably made some improvements to his takedown defense. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't look great off of his back. I mean, he has good offensive jiu-jitsu, but I think if Spivak gets on top of him, man, like Spivak is hindsight minus like 250 because Spivak has decent top control. He does. But the
Yeah.
one thing we have to bring up with Sergey Spivak is the one time he's fought an athletic striker, he got dumped off in sub 1 minute. Now, I understand that was quite a while ago, but look at the guys he's been fighting recently. I mean, none of these guys are athletic. I mean, they're not going to presenting the same dangerous threat on the feet that Aspinall is, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jared
Olenek, Videra,
Vanderhoek.
Felipe, Tybura, Tuivasa. I mean, those guys aren't really athletic strikers that are going to get in your face. And I think Tom Aspinall is a very good striker. I think he's one of the better strikers in the heavyweight division. I think he's very mobile, good 1-2, good jab, very light on his feet. And I think he's definitely going to be winning the minutes on the feet. With his volume, I think he's going to take the center of the octagon. And I think honestly, I think that the reason that I'm not betting Spivak is if this was a very binary fight where either Tom Aspinall lights him up on the feet or Sergey Spivak takes him down and controls him, then I'd be betting Spivak because I taped this fight when Spivak was like plus 240. But what I honestly think can happen is I honestly think that Tom Aspinall may be able to get takedowns. I mean, it's not something that I'm overly confident in, but looking through all the tape on Tom Aspinall, when the guy shoots a takedown, he's got it. I mean, pretty much every single time, if he shoots a takedown, he's got it. Now, again, he's way lower level guys, so it's hard to make a read because what we see on tape is that he's taking down every single opponent, but they're lower level. So where is his offensive wrestling at? Like, where is it? We don't know. That's why I don't want to bet this fight because it's tough. I mean, the guy took down Arlovsky and subbed him in like 3 seconds, and the weirdest finish I've ever seen in my entire life. So I don't know where he stands. I think this is a good fight to sit back, honestly, and just evaluate, where is Tom Aspinall? Because if Tom Aspinall can stuff takedowns here and Tom Aspinall can maybe get some takedowns and just light up Spivak on the feet, I think, this is a big test for Tom Aspinall to pass on his trajectory in the division, because I do think that he's one of the faster, more athletic guys in the division who packs some pretty decent power. And, I think minus 186, minus 185 range, minus 190 range is accurate for Aspinall. I still think the line is too wide. But I just don't want to bet Spivak because I feel that, Aspinall has a big advantage on the feet. I feel he's much more athletic, much faster. He's going to be the one in the center. Spivak's taking it on short notice, right? So if Aspinall provides some resistance to the takedowns, maybe Sergey Spivak can't wrestle for 15 minutes. But also, it's tough because Sergey Spivak has good fight IQ, man. The guy wrestles when he should and doesn't wrestle when he shouldn't, So
The thing is,
what a fight,
the
man.
the skill discrepancy on the feet is much larger than it is on the ground. And that is what I have to say is Tom Aspinall is levels ahead on the feet, but a bit Like, I mean, he can hold his own on the ground is what I'm trying to say. I mean, he's got good BJJ. I mean, we've seen him be controlled well. I don't know if Spivak's going to be able to do that. I do think that Aspinall is way more athletic and could explode off the bottom. The big thing is Aspinall's bigger. Aspinall has better striking. And I think that the difference in the striking versus the difference in the grappling just plays into Aspinall's hand. Now, that being said, I would not be betting Tom Aspinall as a parlay piece this weekend because whereas I am huge on him, I think the guy's going to do really, really well. It's a weird matchup for him because if he's able to be controlled on the ground, I mean, that's what Spivak does. He lays on you. That's it. He's a wet blanket. He's just one of those guys who's willing to sit on top. He's, like you said, great fight IQ. I do think Aspinall wins this fight, though. And I do think that if he does do it, he does finish him here. Like you said, short notice, he's athletic. He'll be able to push the pace. I think Aspinall's cardio is a lot better than a lot of people are giving him credit for. He did tire in one of those recent fights, but he was pushing an insane pace. So a bit more too is Aspinall won me some crazy money one night. He got me at one of my first takedowns on DraftKings. So I will forever owe him. But no, I think that you should be picking or Aspinall to win this fight, but I don't know if I would be betting him at all. Like, that is a super, super wide line for someone who is in no means an L word, right? So DraftKings, sure, he'll put out volume. Like you said, if he's able to get takedowns, I think he'd be able to control. We haven't really seen Sergey Spivak off his back, have we? So I'm liking Aspinall here, but I would not pay the price. And that's how it's going to be for me. And with that, that was our co-main event of the evening. We have one fight left, and we're not even an hour through this. Usually here for 2.5 hours. That is okay. That is fine. Less time for you guys to listen. I appreciate everyone in the comments section, especially you, Carter, whenever you see this, because you're behind. Blowing up that chat. Keep her going. If anyone's got any questions for me, let me know. I have an hour till I get to post my MLB lineups for whoever's going to be playing any of those. Last week was great for me, man. I was able to rack up the cash and now be able to spend it all on UFC this weekend. So lots of UFC action for me on DraftKings. So hit me up tomorrow. DM me on Twitter. And we all good? Yeah, all right, sweet. So yeah, one last fight. Cheers to everybody here right now. Message me on Twitter. I will send out lineups and make sure that after this video is done, you check out the DFS breakdown we just posted. And let's get right into it. The main event of the night, Darren Till, the Gorilla, versus our guy, Derek Brunson. No longer blonde hair Brunson. Yes. But he is still Derek Brunson. That's a big, important factor in this fight, isn't it?
That is, man. You got to take these things into consideration.
Well, we've seen Brunson wrestle his way to victory. I mean, this guy was an All-American wrestler. He's got that path there. And we have a guy in Darren Till who's got great counter striking. He picks his punches. I mean, he's got a negative strike differential in the UFC. I'll tell you that right now. But he's so smart with the way he does it. He's got great counter punches. And we've seen Derek Brunson be knocked out before. So tell me, am I correct to say that if Brunson is smart, this could be a striker versus grab matchup?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. The thing I have with this fight is, first of all, I am not high on Darren Till. Like, I think the guy is very overrated. I don't really see what in any performance that he's had that's, people think he's like that great. I mean, like, he just got outmatched by Whittaker. I mean, the guy's never landed more than 50 significant strikes in a fight. Like, that is bad. Like, we look at volume, with Till, and he just doesn't throw punches, man. I feel like he has so much potential to be such a good striker. The way he fights is so technical, but he doesn't let his hands go. I mean, running through his record, lost to Whittaker in a close fight, but again, he let the fight go because of volume. He beats Gastelum in a fight I thought he won, but again, very close fight. Could have gone either way. He gets deaded by Jorge Masvidal. He doesn't land one significant strike against Tyron Woodley. It's not just that he lost to Tyron Woodley. Like, people, like, the thing is, you look at that loss and it's like, okay, Woodley was the champion. But I mean, not landing a strike, throwing 6. I mean, come on, like, it's red flag for me. I mean, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I thought he lost that fight again. 38 significant strikes in 5 rounds. It isn't great, man. And I honestly think that I honestly think that this fight is close. I think that this fight is close, and not even because I think Derek Brunson's going to have wrestling success. I don't think Derek Brunson's going to have wrestling success. I don't think he's going to be able to
Oh,
get Till
really?
down. I mean, I've never seen Till been taken down and held down. I mean, Till off his back isn't great though. Like if Till, like when he gets knocked down, like he's not that great. He's very susceptible to ground and pound. Like if Brunson ends up on top, like I really think that he's just gonna elbow through his face. I mean, Till doesn't deal with ground and pound well. Um, but the thing is, Till has great 82% takedown defense. I mean, I've never seen him being taken down and held down right after. He always gets back up. Now, Brunson is going to be the biggest guy he's fought, I believe. I think that, the true bigger middleweight. So I think Brunson may be able to get him down once or twice, but I'm not relying on that. I do think that Derek Brunson is not the same Derek Brunson from years back. I do think he's more measured. I don't think he's the same guy that's just going to go out there and get, KO'd by rushing in and stuff like that.
He
But
did
I do
change
think
camps and look a lot
he
better.
did, yeah. But I do think that on the feet, I think they're similar. I think Till is more technical, but both guys like to throw leg kicks, straight lefts, and body kicks. I mean, I don't really see how you could say that Till's gonna put on like a striking clinic against Brunson when he doesn't throw. I mean, he's not gonna outstrike him by a lot whatsoever. Right? He's probably gonna land more. I do think that, but it's not like it's gonna be convincing. But so the reason I slightly edge Till is I think he's more durable. I do think he takes punches better, and I think he has good distance management. I think he's less hittable. That's the thing with Till. He doesn't throw a lot of volume, but he keeps distance well. I feel like he's good at that kind of stuff, and yeah, I think that's why I lean. I think he's just going to outland him slightly in the fight. But yeah,
You ready for this?
oh, tell me I'm
You
wrong.
ready?
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not wrong. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I think it's a great bet. Sorry, a great look.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that Derek Brunson's going to have a lot more wrestling success than you give him credit for, and that is why I sprinkled on a half unit on Derek Brunson by decision. I think that line is off. I think that it's more likely that if Derek Brunson wins this fight, he wins by decision instead of finishing him. I'm not very high on him knocking out Darren Till. I think that if you bet Darren Till, you bet him by knockout because Brunson has been knocked out. But I just think he's going to have more wrestling success than people tell you to. I mean, he was an All-American wrestler. He has chosen to strike recently. And when you give me plus 400, plus 450, whatever it used to be, I think I got it at plus 450. Let me double check. It's one of those lines where I got to take advantage of it because I do think Derek Brunson is live in this fight here. Brunson by decision, plus 450. Yeah. Like, I can get that at plus 500 some spots. It's one of those spots where, like, yeah, it's a much better chance than it was implied. And there we go. I'm by myself. You know what? This is just like the start of the stream. But yeah, I'll carry on. Darren Till, counter striker, doesn't throw much volume versus a guy in Brunson who has this variety, this wide arsenal that I'm not super high on, but he's well-rounded to the point where his new coaching staff is executing these plans to perfection. I mean, he looked great against Hall. I mean, he did get rocked in that fight a bit, but he was able to execute the game plan that he had to win the fight. And I think he's going to be able to do that as well. I think that when it comes to playing Brunson on DraftKings, that is definitely a possibility. I mean, I talked about it in my video I keep referring to, but if he does land those takedowns, he score big. But if he does lose this fight, if it's by knockout, of course he's not going to score big. And that's the problem I have with him is there's so many other guys in that price range, such as a Rojo or a Zawada, literally $100 or $200 above that, who is just, I think, has more chance to win the fight. I do think Brunson wins this fight, but when he does, it is by decision, and that just hurts his DraftKings value. And if you're not going to win the fight by finish, it's going to be tough to back him and put him in the lineups. So I think that when it comes to playing him on DraftKings, I think he has a higher floor than some others might. And I think that it's one of those spots where you have to take a look at it, take advantage of it, especially at such a big skill gap. Such a big line discrepancy. Yeah, with that being said, I know you guys are sick and tired of seeing my face in full. So here you go. We have you back. It's karma. That's what happened to me. It happened to you. It has to happen.
Yeah, computer died.
Computer died. Oh, so you're just an idiot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I always forget
Just
to
kidding.
bring
Just
my.
kidding.
No, you're right, man. I always forget to bring my charger when I'm recording, and I just don't learn.
I'm just messing with you. My Wi-Fi cut out. It's all good. I mean, it's going to be an hour right here. And we just finished talking about the main event. I don't know if you heard me say it. I got him at plus 450 to win by decision.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's one of those spots where if he is able to get that wrestling off, that's not going to look that bad. I mean, Till is durable. I know you, like you said, that ground and pound is there. I think that, oh my God, what's the line for him? Brunson by sub? Brunson by sub is what, plus 2,900?
No, that's wild. That's wild.
That's something that's wild. I think that if Darren Till wins this fight, Brunson does not have some iron chin. He could be knocked out.
I'm glad you're seeing what I'm seeing too, though. That Till is not the minus 186 favorite here, man. I also feel like on the feet, like I truly believe on the feet, it's not going to be one-way traffic. I don't think Brunson is as technical a striker as Till, but Till doesn't throw volume. Can you really say that Till versus anybody on the feet that is, competent enough to throw strikes is like a complete whitewash? Because the guy is technical. He can compete with guys like Whitaker, technical striking wise, but he doesn't throw enough volume. I mean, he's never landed more than 50 significant strikes. You know what I mean?
He got absolutely obliterated in strike count. I mean, he didn't land a singular strike against a guy who landed, 50 strikes against Jake Paul in an 8-round boxing match? I mean, again, I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Screw that fight, but he doesn't throw volume, and that's his problem. I mean, he could be a very dangerous fighter if he does, but that's just his style, and I don't like it. I'm not a big Till backer. I have a lot of times against him. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it doesn't. I cash that Jorge Masvidal ticket. I'll take that any day. We have a great question that I need you to answer on the spot right now. I mean, you should know this right off the top of your head. Frank, man, you're killing me here, bud. You know what? The thing is, coaching means a lot in this, and that's the thing is whenever there's a coaching change, I like to do my research, I like to pay attention to it. And blonde hair Brunson at that new camp has looked really good. If you're speaking of coaching changes, I saw this on my feed earlier. Did you see that Zhang Weili is fighting at Fight Ready?
I was just about to say it too when you were done speaking.
I love Rose, but that's dangerous.
That fight interesting. I mean, also though, like we can't remember that a lot of people were betting Weili. I know you were on Rose. I believe, yeah, you're on Rose. But a lot of people were betting Weili at like minus 200, which shows how much they thought of her. And I don't put too much stock into first round KOs because I feel like they're improbable to happen again, right? So I'm interested. Like if Rose opens like minus 200, man, like especially with Weili going to Fight Ready, man.
Fight Ready. The problem is
that card is insane, man.
The problem with that is we saw Rose want it more than ever before. She was chaining to herself, I'm the champion. I'm the champion. You're already a champion. You're not going to have that same drive. And that's the problem I have here. Is I love Rose, and she's the best. Frank, going from question to question. But, she is a great person. I love her for it. But she's putting herself in a tough spot here. And Zhang Weili is a great fighter, and we know that. I'm actually going to pull up the odds for you right now. That card is absolutely stacked. I don't know if you guys saw.
I've ever seen, man.
It was, oh my God, it opened to pick 'em.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the thing.
That makes sense.
I would probably bet, that's the thing. I love Rose, but if you were backing Weili last time out at minus 200,
I don't see that's an auto bet. If you were a Weili backer last fight, I mean, you shouldn't go off because she got head kick KO'd.
It does show that her chin isn't. I mean, she goes 5 rounds with Joanna and then gets knocked out like that. Her chin isn't rock solid.
It's tough for me because I just feel like that kick, that was like the greatest kick. Like that was in the perfect spot. Like,
bro, that whole card is insane.
Yeah, man. I think 268 is going to be the best card. Like,
I think
Chandler and Gaethje is the best fight from a fan perspective you can make in the entire UFC. And Colby Usman, like, I'm going to be shaking. The tension in that fight is just, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Because if Colby loses this, he's done. He can't say shit ever again. He's done.
Did you see Billy Q versus Shane Burgos? That's a fight, too.
What a fight. I think Burgos is going to open up. I think I saw that everyone was like, I want to hammer Burgos. Everyone wants to hammer Burgos. Like, that's my boy Billy Q,
Did you see the Alex Pereira move?
Oh, the guy that KO'd Izzy, eh?
Yeah. The guy that KO'd Israel Adesanya. The only person to beat Israel Adesanya in a kickboxing fight who knocked him out Actually, I don't know if that's true. But the one person to knock out Israel Adesanya in a Glory kickboxing fight
Coming to the UFC.
is moving to UFC and fighting on that card. That card is one of the most stacked cards of all time. You know what? I know where we live close. You should come out and watch that fight with me, man. We'll talk about it. That'd be a great card. Number 6. I'm hyped. I know you'll be on the live stream with me then. Lots of exciting news coming on the channel, so make sure to check that out. I know we've been holding you guys for an hour, and you guys are dying to see the other YouTube video I just posted. Cards over here, like, you haven't watched the other video because I'm on the stream. Yeah, I've said it a lot of times. I'm not very smart. But when it comes to UFC, don't worry. We do our research. We pay attention, and we are ready to make some money this weekend. I am absolutely pumped. Remember, everybody, 1:30 p.m. EST starting time for the fights. Hit me up in my DMs. I'll send you over some lineups. Check out that YouTube video I've been talking about the whole time. I'll be tweeting it out shortly. There is a lot of money to be made in such a small card like this. It's absolutely wild. I'm pumped. I'm ready for it. Before I leave you, I want you to go over your bets. What do you got going on for tomorrow?
Yeah, just 2 bets for me. 3 units, Jack Shore minus 275, and 1 unit plus 100, Molly McCann. I wasn't able to track the Jack Shore one, which is really annoying because right when I bet it, it went to minus 400, right? So it was very unfortunate. I got to start locking them in bet MMA and then actually betting them in real life. That's what I got to start doing.
I have. Yes, I have that 5-unit play, and if you know me, I don't do 5-unit plays. I stick to my guts, and I do that pretty well. 5 units. Jack Shore, Murad-Vilashvili parlay.
What's the odds on
That's it.
Minus 1.
Did you say 10? Minus 109.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. The thing is, Jack Shore is now minus 700.
Yeah, that's a very good line. Marab's on the 266 card, right?
Yep, and he's lined at minus 225 right now against Marlon Moraes.
Yeah.
You have 2 of my favorite fighters in the UFC, both with just insane wills to get to the top. Guys are on a mission. Great play. Love that 5-unit play. I got 2 units on Mr. Paddy Pimblett, the guy with the haircut. Sorry, Carter. I know you don't like the haircut. Oh, well. One of the most important people in my life is a huge Beatles fan, so let's just back up the Beatles and go for a win with Mr. Paddy Pimblett here. Then I got the 0.8 units on Molly McCann to win a decision. Let's go, Molly. I think that at plus 150, plus 160, if she's going to win the fight, most of the time it will be by decision. And then finally, I have Derek Brunson by decision. Again, plus 450. Plus 500 some places, so that's not bad either, but only a half unit on that one. I am going to look into a few other play. Oh, and the Rojo Martinez fight doesn't go to decision at minus 110. One of my favorite spots on the card. Debating throwing another half unit on it. If I had to bet anything else, don't mind Jourdain to finish in this spot, but it is juiced. Zawada, the line value is gone, but I think he's a great underdog play for this weekend as well. Again, I've said it 1,000 times. Check out that YouTube video I posted on this channel as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know we had some decent numbers on this one, and I'll take that. We're here having some fun, talking some fights, so I appreciate every single one of you here. Especially appreciate you, Mr. Phoenix. Take this time, plug your socials.
Yeah, just Phoenix_MMA on Twitter and Phoenix_MMA on YouTube, although I might be doing something with that. Stay tuned.
Ooh, stay tuned for that. I mean, who knows? Will I be involved? Who knows?
No.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you very much. That's an hour and 7 minutes of your time gone wasted. You'll never get that back. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the fights tomorrow. Remember to DM me if you want some lineups, and check out my YouTube channel at Place Fades. That's how you got to this video in the first place, so you guys know that. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night, and thank you guys for tuning in. Cheers.